Ring of Roses, also known as Ring of Rosie or Ring Around the Rosie, is a nursery rhyme, folk song, and playground game. Descriptions first appeared in the mid-19th century, though it is reported to date from decades earlier. Similar rhymes are known across Europe, with varying lyrics. It has a Raud folk song index number of 7925. The origin of the song is unknown. Pagan myth or folklore were proposed as origins at the end of the 19th century. In the mid-20th century, it was suggested that the song reflects the Great Plague or earlier outbreaks of bubonic plague in England, with the plague's rash, protective posies of herbs, symptoms of sneezing, and finally falling down dead. However, the symptoms do not align closely with the song. The explanation emerged centuries after the plague, and European and 19th century versions of the song do not match the interpretation either. In popular culture, the plague interpretation has taken hold, with a variant version on nuclear war. The origins and earliest wording of the rhyme remain unknown. In many versions of the game, a group of children forms a ring, dances in a circle around one person, and then stops or curtsies on the final line. The slowest child to perform this action may face a penalty or become the rosier, literally, rose tree, from the French rosier, taking their place in the center of the ring. Some versions replace the third line with red bird, blue bird, or green grass, yellow grass, and the ending may be changed to sweet bread, rye bread. 3 Godey's Lady's Book, 1882, describes this variation, noting it as 1, 2, 3 squat. Before the final line, the children suddenly stop, then shout it together, sorting the action to the word with unfailing hilarity and complete satisfaction. An Indian version ends with husha busha, we all fall down. 5-6 variations, corruptions, and adaptations of the rhyme have been noted to exist long before its earliest printed versions. One such variation was recorded as being used in Connecticut in the 1847, a novel from 1855, The Old Homestead by Anne Stephens, includes the following version. Another early record of the rhyme appears in Kate Greenaway's Mother Goose, or The Old Nursery Rhymes, 1881. In his Games and Songs of American Children, 1883, William Wells Newell describes several variants, including one with a melody that he dates to around 1790 in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Newell notes that at the end of the words the children suddenly stop, and the last to get down undergoes some penalty, or has to take the place of the child in the center who represents the roseate rose tree. French, Rosier, 7 in an 1846 article from the Brooklyn Eagle. A different version of the game called Ring of Roses is described. In this version, a group of young children forms a ring from which a boy selects a girl and kisses her. 10 and 1883 collection of Shropshire folklore includes the following version. On the final line, they stand and imitate sneezing. 11 The Opes, in their Dictionary of Nursery Rhymes, record similar variations that have appeared over time. 12 A German rhyme, first printed in 1796, closely resembles Ring of Roses in its first stanza. 13, and includes similar actions, with sitting rather than falling as the concluding gesture. 14 A loose translation reads, round about in rings we children three sit beneath an elderbush and shoo, shoo, shoo go eat. This rhyme, which appears in the popular collection Das Neben Wunderhorn, is well known in Germany and has many local variations. 15 In translation. A ring of roses, lovely apricots, violets blue, forget-me-nots, sit down, children all. Swiss versions of the rhyme involve children dancing around a rosebush. 17 Other European singing games with a strong resemblance included Rose, Rose, May, Rose, Rose, May from the Netherlands, which has a similar tune to Ring of Roses. 18 And Gara, Gara Rosa, Circle, Circle, Rose, recorded in Venice in 1874. In this Italian version, girls dance around a central girl, who skips and curtsies as directed by the verses and at the end kisses the one she likes best. choosing her to be in the middle for the next round. 19 Evidence of similar children's round dances appears in continental paintings. For example, Hans Thomann's Kinderrigen, children dancing in a ring, from 1872 depicts children dancing in an alpine meadow, while a later version of the painting shows them dancing around a tree. 20 The Florentine artist Raffaello Sorbi brought a similar scene into the Renaissance setting with his 1877 work Giritondo, Round Dance, where young maidens circle a child at the center to instrumental accompaniment. 21 The specific words to which these children dance are not recorded, but the scene's familiarity was echoed by English artists who depicted similar scenes in the 19th century. In Thomas Webster's Ring of Roses, circa 1850, the children dance to the music of a seated clarinetist. 22 Meanwhile, in Frederick Morgan's Ring, a Ring of Roses, the title under which it was exhibited at the Royal Academy Summer Exhibition in 1885, 23 The children are shown dancing around a tree. 24 Two other artists associated with the Newlyn School also depicted the game, Elizabeth Edela Forbes in 1880-25 and Harold Harvey in a later work. 26 The origins and meanings of the game have long been unknown and are subject to speculation. Folklore scholars consider the popular explanation linking it to the Great Plague, which has been common since the mid-20th century, to be unfounded. In 1898, a dictionary of British folklore suggested that the game may have pagan origins. This was based on a comparison in the Sheffield Glossary with Jacob Grimm's Dutch mythology, which relates it to pagan myths. It cites a passage that reads, "Gifted children of fortune have the power to love roses as Frege wept gold," suggesting that the game's origins may involve pagan beings of light. Another interpretation is more literal, proposing that it involved making a ring around roses and ending with "all fall down" as a kind of curtsy. 27 In 1892, the American writer Eugene Field wrote a poem titled Teeny Weeny, which specifically described fey folk playing Ring a Rosy. 28 According to Games and Songs of American Children, published in 1883, the rosy was thought to refer to the French word for rose tree, with children dancing and bowing to the person in the center. 7 Some variations included literal falling down, which lessened the connection to the game of rhyme's original form. In 1898, sneezing was also noted as a symbol with superstitious and supernatural significance across various cultures. 27 Since the Second World War, the rhyme has often been associated with the Great Plague of 1665 in England, or with earlier outbreaks of the bubonic plague in England. However, interpreters of the rhyme before World War I make no mention of this connection. 29 By 1951, this interpretation had become widely accepted as an explanation for the rhyme's form that had become standard in the United Kingdom. Peter and Jonah Oppie, leading authorities on nursery rhymes, observed, "The line ashes, ashes in colonial versions of the rhyme has been claimed to refer variously to cremation of bodies, the burning of victims' houses, or the blackening of skin due to the disease." This theory has been adapted to explain other versions of the rhyme. 32 Folklore scholars consider the Great Plague explanation of the rhyme to be unfounded for several reasons. Firstly, the plague explanation did not emerge until the mid-20th century. 19 While the symptoms described do not ally closely with those of the Great Plague. 33 The wide variety of forms makes it unlikely that the modern version is the most ancient one, and the words on which this interpretation is based are not present in many of the earliest records of the rhyme. 34 In addition, European and 19th century versions of the rhyme suggest that this fall was not a literal falling down, but rather a curtsy or other bending movement that was common in other dramatic singing games. 35 In its various forms, the Great Plague interpretation has entered popular culture and has been referenced to make indirect connections to the plague. 36 In 1949, a parodist created a version referencing nuclear war. In March 2020, during the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic in the United Kingdom, The traditional rhyme was humorously suggested as the ideal choice of song to accompany hand washing to ward off infection. 38.